Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic edition of Sit Back with Shaq and Anu. As always, we are going all World Cup in the next couple of weeks or so. Sri Lanka in Australia at the moment, the T20 World Cup. Thank you very much and welcome to the Softlogic Live World Cup Payback, coming to you live on our platforms on YouTube. And big thank you to our sponsors, Softlogic Live. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, our presenting partners. Edge Vantage is also on the show with us, Edge Vantage Workflows and Daraz. A big thank you to our sponsors.
That's right, and of course a wonderful day to be doing this show, especially after the shenanigans we witnessed in the afternoon.
It's a sigh of relief. It's like a sigh, oh my God, finally got it done.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people who were constipated before are no longer constipated now.
You wouldn't believe how many people automatically became accountants because they're all number crunching.
Absolutely.
He was 2 hours in oh my God.
Yeah.
All that and more, of course. We've got our guest in the studio, Farveez Maharoof. It's nice to have you back on the show. Welcome back.
Thank you, Shaq. Good to be here.
And lots to talk about right here. And as always, we've got a Power Pack show. And if you want to send in your questions, this is the number which is appearing on your screen right now. Send your questions in to us. You can text those questions on that number. It's 077 669 1590. Time for us to get into our first segment. It's Details from Down Under, a little roundup of what happened at the World Cup today. Thank you. Right, so talking about today's matches, and of course we've got the results on your screen right now. This was yesterday's, as a matter of fact. We've got this basically going on. Yeah, they socked West Indies yesterday.
Absolutely, Sockland has. that was what happened yesterday, day before yesterday. Rather.
Yeah. So, but big match, of course, that we had to talk about. Sri Lanka getting over the line versus the UAE.
Yeah, that was an actually incredible performance, I must say. And at the outset, when we were batting, I thought, and the hat trick that really got everyone rattled, every viewer. Just imagine what it was like for the cricketers, So here we are.
Here we are. Today's matches, of course, Netherlands beating Namibia. 5 wickets, and all Sri Lankans obviously are supporting Namibia because it would have been an easier game for us. Yeah. And Sri Lanka beating, well, not beating necessarily, but completely wiping UAE out by 79 runs.
But I firmly believe that Namibia is out to get us.
So coming up, matches for tomorrow. What do we have? Tomorrow's matches we have for you. At the T20 World Cup, Scotland taking on Ireland, and of course West Indies taking on Zimbabwe. That will be a good match, as a matter of fact. Of course, both still waiting to qualify. West Indies losing their first match and taking on Zimbabwe at 1:30 local time. Some of the other stuff that obviously, as far as the World Cup is concerned, some interesting tweets that we actually picked up for the day. This is something, Farveez, you can actually comment on. Most ducks in T20s in 2022 from 1 to 7 in full member nations. Charit Asalanka, and ideally it should be Danishka Gunatilaka.
Yeah.
Right? With basically, now these are the two batsmen that Sri Lanka were basically toying around with. Both of them got themselves 4 ducks. What do you think?
I think it's a huge concern going forward. And also Danishka Gunatilaka nursing a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
That's the news I've been getting and we've all been getting. So definitely a concern, but I still back Charit Asalanka to come good. I've seen him play some magnificent knocks, especially in T20 cricket. Remember the World Cup last year. So
it was so long ago, Farveez. Everybody is saying he's played a lot.
I think it's you got to go with what you have in the store.
Right.
You don't have any other batsman in Australia at the moment in the 15. So sometimes I was having a chat with Avishka about the same situation. Avishka being a coach of Charit Asalanka from his under-19 days. But he said as well, more than technical, he has some confidence issue.
Right.
So these things can happen to a player, but unfortunately it happens during Asia Cup and World Cup, which is 2 major trophies to play in.
Right.
So I reckon to come out of this rot, I've been there in personal in my playing days as well.
So what did you do?
That's what I'm come there. Best is to do, just forget about everything. I know it's very easy to say, it's hard to do, but that's the only solution you have, because you have back-to-back games, you have a day off and you go again, right? And until you face first three to four balls, you're feeling very anxious. You have to get through that period. You get through that period, just one stroke away. I mean, you all know both these players are good enough to be in this team, world-class players, but have not lived to their potential. That's been the problem.
Right.
So these things happen. Best way to get out of it is just spend some time in the middle. Take those 3-4 balls up front. Play very tight to your body. Don't try to poke outside your stump. Exactly both the players did. Danushka did for a fast bowler, and Charit did for a spinner. So I reckon to get out of this rut, you just have to bog down, forget about his T20. At least 4 to 6 balls, just wait there, and then try and score some runs, which we have to go with them because we don't have any other batsman on tour.
Farveez, now tomorrow is a rest day, right?
Yeah.
Hit up pool parak
It doesn't happen like that. I mean, people say practice karan no. It doesn't happen like that. Sometimes you just want to switch off. Right? Sometimes like we are having a hectic day at work. You just want to throw your laptop and your phone off. Similarly, when you're tired, playing mentally tired, you're physically tired, you just want to relax. So I reckon my piece of advice for Charit, don't worry about too much. Just have a day off. Or if you want to get a hit from throwdowns just to get your confidence factor, that's a different story. But ideally, if I'm in that situation, I'll take a day off just to completely get out of the game and come fresh.
Something else that we will talk about that is actually going around right now is both the players are not necessarily playing in their respective positions,
that's true.
which they have been groomed to play, which could also be a factor, but we'll talk about that. A couple of other tweets that we have on the show right now. Sachin Tendulkar's 4 semi-finals right there: India, Pakistan, Australia and England. He's made those calls going on the strength of the teams and of course the strength of the personnel in those teams. Let's see how far Sachin Tendulkar's semi-finalists will actually come through. What else do we actually have? Harsha Bhogle actually spoke singular today.
Oh, really?
Which is a big thing, yeah. And someone actually commented on that. And his tweet saying, to be fair, I asked my good friend Russell Arnold and wrote the pronunciation in Hindi script. I think he said, wow, Hondata Sri Lanka. I think that's what he said today.
That's sweet.
I
missed all of it because it was work.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Normal people work.
Yeah. Some people work.
So good on Harsha Bhogle to actually go that extra mile. And what else do we actually have for details from Down Under? Here we go. Farveez, of course, he's a self-accomplished accountant who will give us more details on the numbers.
Now this is what's bothering everybody right now.
Yeah,
not just in Sri Lanka, my
individuals who fail maths, they don't want to look at this table. So tell us in layman's term, right? How do we go to the next stage?
So this is about the 1,000th time I've been asked within the last 5 to 6 hours.
Then don't tell us.
So the script is very simple. Sri Lanka plays Netherlands the first game, which is day after. So in case if it's a rainy day and both the games gets washed off, Sri Lanka is out.
Sri Lanka is out.
Basically. So ideally we want to beat Netherlands. We have to beat Netherlands. There's no second choice. And Namibia losing to UAE, that makes everyone go 2 each.
Right.
And then if we beat Netherlands, that means our net run is better than Netherlands. Why they are in the number 1 position? Because they got 4 points.
4 points.
So if we beat Netherlands, we become 4 points plus. If we maintain a decent run rate, we'll be at possibly +1 or maybe 0.9, 0.8, something like that.
Right.
But if Netherlands, if we lose it, that's the other problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if they win it, it's a different story. But if they lose it, they need to have a better run rate than us.
Right.
So you can't have that.
Right.
So basically, if you win it and Namibia beats UAE, Namibia becomes number 1. We become number 2 since our net run is better than Netherlands. So that's the ideal position, and we just hope the weather god is kind to us. We have 2 full games, and we won't be interrupted by any rain at all day after in Geelong.
I believe the fact that you have been explaining this 1,000 times because it just came out so easy. No pauses whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Soon after the game, first thing I did, Soon after the game, I had a recording to do with ESPN Cricinfo because I signed up to work with them. And number one, I said, give me the points table. Within 15 minutes, they sent me the edited one. Right. So I knew, right? I studied it because I knew I'm going to be asked so many questions about it. So, this is the 1,000th time, probably more. Yeah. But I think I got it spot on.
We'll ask you one more time before the show is over. You need to do it with your eyes closed.
I'm sure you can. It's memorized now.
I think that's it as far as details from Down Under is concerned. Some of those big games, of course, coming tomorrow. We'll find out where we stand at the end of the games tomorrow. In the meantime, taking a break. We'll be back right after this.
සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එන්නේ නැහැනේ.
මූණ අප්සෙට් කරගෙන ක්‍රිකට් ගහන්න බෑ නේද? ගහමුද මැච් එක?
ගහමු.
මැච් එක ගහන්න කලින් පිච් එක හදන්න ඕනේ.
ඕ බැස්මන් ලෑස්තිද?
ඔය ගේන්නේ? ජීවිතේ හැම මොහොතක්ම වරගෙන ජීවත් වෙන්න අදම තීරණය කරන්න. වෙන දෙයක් වුණොත් Softlogic live ඉන්නවා බලා ගන්න.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
Corporate events, weddings, concerts, or simply getting fuel with the QR code. Let us help you take your big day to the world with a professional broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, MS Teams, or your website at the most affordable rates. So give us a call and let's go live. PodHub.
ගහමුද මැච් එක?
ගහමු.
මැච් එක ගහන්න කලින් පිච් එක හදන්න ඕනේ. වහල කැට් ඔට්ටු නෑ.
මේ එළියට ගියොත් අවුට් ඩන්.
ඕ මොකද මෙතන වෙන්නේ?
එන්න අම්පයර් කෙනෙක් හොයෝ හිටියේ. ජීවිතේ හැම මොහොතක්ම වරගෙන ජීවත් වෙන්න අදම තීරණය කරන්න. වෙන දෙයක් වුණොත් Softlogic live ඉන්නවා බලා ගන්න.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. It's the Softlogic Live World Cup Payback right here. Sit back with Shaq and Anu with our special guest in the studio. It's Farveez Maharoof talking about the World Cup in Australia at the moment.
And during the break we were having this chat, Shaq, about winning and losing the toss.
Yes.
And Farveez, you said that today's toss was a good one to lose. Why did you say that?
Sometimes, when you're not sure what to do, it's always good to lose the toss. And that happened today with Dasun. I mean, after the first game, I remember when I did a couple of shows, I said, if you take the percentage of winning the toss, batting first and winning the game in Australia, it's more than 60%.
Right.
So, first game I understood why Sri Lanka wanted to bowl first, because drop-in pitch, we don't know what to expect. New atmosphere, new tournament, trying to get slowly but surely to a big tournament. But when it comes to today's game, I had a big hope that Sri Lanka will bat first, and put the runs on the board. And the late evening, watching yesterday's game against Zimbabwe and Ireland, the way the ball was moving in Hobart, and Hobart and Melbourne is not that far. And I expect that to happen. It happened actually today. So we lost the toss. We were going to bowl. Actually, they bowled. They won the toss. But the way Pemut Madhushan bowled up front, the way Dushman Samira swung with pace, I think that's where the game was set nicely. So I reckon sometimes it's good to lose the toss when you're not sure.
Was there a sigh of relief when we actually won? with you?
Massively, I think.
You also had doubts.
I mean, to be honest, more than doubts, more anxious.
Right.
And we've been in that situation before.
Right.
I personally have been in a situation. So you're not normal. Waking up in the morning, have to play against UAE, crunch game. Everything's to lose for.
Right.
In Asia Cup, we have everything to gain, nothing to lose. In this moment, we have everything to lose, but very less to gain. I mean, if we get out of the first round, that means we are in shambles.
Yeah.
Right. So, I had a lot of anxiousness, sleepless nights as a ex-player, but I can imagine how was the present players was feeling. So they would have been very anxious to play, very nervous. But today they'll have a good night's sleep, played well. A lot of things to improve, but a lot of improvement from the first game.
You're also looking at some injury worries, I believe. Like we said, like you spoke about, like Danushka has a hamstring injury, and one of the most shocking thing, of course, is to see Dushmanto actually walking off. He's just coming out of an injury. So here's a question pretty much on that.
රුවන් අහනවා කෙලින්ම දුෂ්මන්ත චමීරට මොනවද උනේ අපේ ෆාස්ට් බෝලර්ස් එකකින් එක වැටෙනවනේ.
What I heard soon after the game is that he has done a calf injury, which is calf is a.
Was this the injury that he was out?
No,
He's new.
He had a bone bruise in his ankle. He's been carrying it for a long time.
Right.
He's been carrying it, if I'm right, for the last 6 to 8 years. You just have to maintain a bone bruise. It's calcification been built around your ankle. So he was supposed to go through in a surgery soon after the World Cup. That was the plan. But since he did his calf, it looks bad, if I'm being really honest. So I expect him to be sidelined for a while. Scans only will reveal it tomorrow. But the main concern for me is Pramod Madushan. The young man bowled really well.
Yeah.
Swung the ball. There was nice lines, nice bounce as well, and just bowled the 3 overs. And I was asking the question, why wasn't he bowled his 4 overs? Then I heard after the game is that he also is suffering from a little hamstring niggle, which is also a major concern because you just have 2 fit fast bowlers in Australia at the moment, which is Binura and Lail Kumar.
And Lail Kumar is coming out of an injury, so you call him fit, can you now?
Same with Binura Fernando. He last played that SLC T20 SLC T20 Invitation League, which happened in Ketaram. I was in the commentary box. He pulled his calf as well as hamstring, if I remember right. And ever since then, he hasn't played. He has only been training. And at the moment in Sri Lanka, it's domestic cricket, 3-day stuff happens.
Right.
So usually for a fast bowler straight after injury, you don't play a 3-day or a 4-day. You just build up your fitness by playing T20s and 1-days. But at the moment, these fast bowlers don't have that luxury. They're only bowling in training, which is a vast difference. Bowling in training and bowling in matches is totally different things. So major concern for me is both these bowlers have not played for a while. Straight away into a crunch game, we have to win somehow. So everything to play for.
We got another question from Ashen.
අශෙන් දසුන් ශානක හිට්ටෝ මිස් ප්ලේයර් කෙනෙක් නේද? ඇන් නෙමෙයි. දවසක් හිතන්න බැරි ඉනින්ග්ස් එකක් සෙල්ලම් කරනවා ඊට පස්සේ මැච් 4ක් ෆේල්. අශෙන් no he's not mincing his words.
Ashen is not a very big fan of Dasun Shanaka.
To be honest, I mean, the hat-trick ball, usually we know the history with Dasun with leg spinners. When he was walking out, I was having lunch at the moment with my wife. So I said, I have a bad feeling about it. I said it because it was a leg spinner.
Right.
And straight away, if you take a look at the replay, the gap between the pad and the bat was so big. So big.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens when batsman has a negative mindset. Dasun Shanak has a decent technique against spin or pace or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you are in that zone where you're negative, you're trying to block a ball, your instincts doesn't work normal.
Yeah.
That's where you make mistakes more often. Even with Sri Lanka, there was nothing short. So these things happen when you're too nervous, too anxious. These things happen. So I think Charit as well as Dasun, that's what happened to them. And Banu Rajapaksa at that moment, you expect him to go for runs because the leg spinner bowling, you have a settled batsman in the other end, beg your pardon. You just have to go for it. But Banuka found the field. But the other two, Charit and Dasun, were very anxious facing that two deliveries.
Right.
And they looked it. No? They actually looked the part. When you say that they were anxious, you could see it, I think, on their faces a little bit.
Charit Sri Lanka, you can understand coming back. He was eager to score runs and he wants to make a point, prove a point as well. But with Dasun, I mean, it's just bad technique, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, thank you so much for being a part of the show. It's the Softlogic Live World Cup Payback right here on Sit Back with Shaq and Anu. And our main guest, of course, right throughout the show is the legend himself, Chaminda Vaas, who comes in on the show on the night before Sri Lanka's matches. So he'll be back with us tomorrow. And of course,
Can we get him online?
I don't know. I don't know if he wants to talk to you. But we've been having such a good time with Chaminda Vaas.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute blast here.
I'm sure.
He's amazing. I mean,
Never a dull moment, I'm sure.
never a dull moment. I'm sure tomorrow
Yeah,
we're going to be
the after-
more fun side of
Absolutely.
Vaas coming up.
Especially because we have been exposed to the after show, the after the official gig is over stories.
Oh.
It is.
Camera off again.
You have known him for, I mean, recent past. I've
Yeah.
played with him for such a long time.
Yeah.
Usually, similarly, after a show it happens. Those days after a game it happens.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun though. Thank you very much, Softlogic Live, for being a part of the show. Edgevantage Workflows, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being
And,
a part of the show. And Daraz, thanks guys for being a part of the Payback series.
Yeah, Shaq, we have to reveal that we still haven't had any winners
Yes.
on our cash giveaway, because you are supposed to, it's not happening tonight. It will happen tomorrow night because the Sri Lanka match is day after. We are basically looking for the correct score that Sri Lanka lands on at the end of the match, and of course you've got to predict it the previous day. And whoever gets it right, and there can only be one winner, will get that score into 100 times. So, for example, if it's 170 runs, you'll end up with, and you guessed it right, you'll walk away with 17,000 rupees. But so far, in the two matches that we have played, nobody's arrived at the right score.
And the thing is this, right? It doesn't mean that Sri Lanka has to win the match.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether we win or lose. Yeah.
I'm going to try my luck next game.
You do that. 17,000 bucks is really nothing much. It's something that you spend for
Full tank of
an hour.
petrol. Full tank of petrol for me.
That's all yes. Let's get back to what we spoke about earlier on with both these players. We actually had the stats up on the screen. Danushka Gunatiraka and Charit Asalanka in the year 2022. Both in T20s have actually scored 4 ducks. Now, Danishka, which we still don't know what happened there.
Yeah. I think we should call him Danishka because that's what he calls himself.
Yeah, I think this is
Danny, he calls
Yeah,
himself.
Danny, yeah.
So I'm sure it's got something to do with the visa situation in Australia. So feel wrong. Forming a rather feel kala diyenne. Right?
ඒවා කලින් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා නේද?
And also Charit Asalanka. Now, Danushka has always been an opening bat. Now he's coming down, or he's been forced to come down 4 down.
Yeah.
How does that change a player's mentality when you need to make another position yours when your position has been taken out?
I mean, it started before the Asia Cup. Even I asked the same question. I've known Danushka for a very long time. I played with him, I played against him. Ever since I've known him, he has opened the batting.
Right.
And all of a sudden, to bat at number 4 is a different set of skills. And to do that, it's not easy. So I actually had a spell of thought for him during the Asia Cup. But I mean, with the time, with the experience, with your ability, you have to get adjusted. If I'm being honest to you, I mean, when Pathum Nisanka and Kusal Mendes is scoring runs at ease in Asia Cup, as well as, I mean, I know Kusal hasn't done in the World Cup yet, but you expect him to come good at any moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it affects the big time, and at the moment, as I said, we don't have much options. So we just have to stick to what we have. And answering your question, how difficult it is, very difficult.
Right.
With different sets of skills. Number 4, number 3 are the architects. They build the innings up. The openers put the runs on the board, fast start, and then number 3, 4, steadies the ship, accelerate, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 to come and play the natural game and get the scoreboard moving. So it will be different, but it's a concerning fact that you said 4 ducks. I just saw it for the first time. I mean, I'm going, wow. Yep. His number 4 position is something. It's like a curse now.
Yeah.
So I reckon either you send next game Charit Asalanka at 3, which I think is a decent move. Why I say?
Which was what his position
And
was.
also, when you have 2 right-handers opening the batting, sending a different batter totally, a left hand at number 3 is not a bad option to do.
Right.
And Dhananjay Silla, the way he's batting, he looks in decent form. So he has batted at number 4 previously also. So I might be tempted to do that. I mean, who am I? I'm just talking from here. People over there, they say better. So that's an option that I will always look into, especially Charita Salanga, back of his mind, he knows he has scored runs at number 3 during the World Cup.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a fact. That's a confidence boost that he may need. So it might be a change.
Obviously, you're also looking at building this young team forward. Now you've got Kusal Mendes and Datu Nisanka almost certain to open almost every game. Then now you want Dhananjay to come in at number 3 to cement his position there. Then of course you're basically sending in your number 4. I mean, Charita Salanga coming in at number 4, and then you've got Barnuka also there, and then you've got Vanindu, you've got Dasun. You know, I mean, these are Dasun and Vanindu are versatile players who can actually float around here and there, but I think they know their roles.
That's why I'm disappointed with Vanindu today, the way he got out.
Yeah.
Especially after losing, I think, 4 wickets just in no time.
Yeah.
And the shot he played, I know for a fact that Vanindu is very strong through extra cover. He plays the inside out, better than anyone in Sri Lanka. He's a master at it, but that's not the occasion. First ball, he tried to do it, and then he went again and got caught. And that too, the deepest end, the farthest end as well. There's a huge risk he took, which I don't think it was needed. Sometimes you need to change the game according to the team's need. At that time, the team wanted a couple of overs from Pathum Nisank and Vanindu Hasaranga just to reduce the fire at that time. Too much pressure. Just milk those singles and then go again. So sometimes you just have to bog down your ego a little bit, play for the team. And because you expect much more from Vanindu Hasaranga. I have a lot of respect towards Vanindu, the way he plays the game. He plays it hard. But sometimes when you do these things in a crunch game, it can backfire. Luckily, we won it easily today. Bigger game, the circumstances will be much different.
Like you said, there are lots of chinks in the Sri Lankan armour so far. I think one of the biggest ones, which going forward, moving into the next round, will be our pace attack. Now, we don't have a backup right now.
Yeah.
We just called up Bino Fernando, who just landed in Australia today. And then you've got Nayu Kumara, who is after an injury, he hasn't played T20 for the longest time.
So Binura will be bowling tomorrow?
Well, he's got no choice.
He has to bowl.
now.
Yeah, there's no choice. No?
And lo and behold, another niggle. What do?
I would bring another option to the table. How I say it now, if you look at the game closely, there was only 2 drop-in pitches being used, which was used first for the first game against Namibia, and today, and they might go back to pitch number 1, which was used on the first day. So in that case, and also considering it's a 3 o'clock start, in both the games up at Geelong, the afternoon game seems to be very slow. For the fast bowlers, even lots of fast bowlers are bowling cutters into the pitch, but for a batter, it's not easy to time it.
Right.
So in that case, if you are risking 2 fast bowlers who have not played for a while straight away into the 11, you have a Jeffrey Van in the team, who is a wrist spinner. And associate teams don't play good wrist spin that well. So, I mean, if you look at the past, with Vanindu on board, whenever Vanindu was injured, Jeffrey, when he has got opportunity, he has done decently well.
Yeah.
So that's an option Sri Lanka could look into. Either play Binura or Lahiru, one of them, and you have Charmik and Dasun to fill in from overs with seam up. And then to have 2 wrist spinners in Vanindu and Jeffrey Van der Say in the 11. So basically, if Pramod and Dushmantha is out, you get Dushmantha's place either Lahiru or Binura. And for Pramod Madhushan's place, you can play a leg spinner. Considering the fact it's a 3 o'clock start.
Right.
The pitch is going to be slow. If it's a night game, it's different. It's a no-brainer. You play both the quicks.
Damit.
දමිත මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අහන්නේ. ආසියානු කුසලානේදී අපි ඉන්දියාව, පාකිස්තානය, බංග්ලාදේශය තුනම පරාද කරපු හින්දා සුපර් 12 එකේදී ගෲප් 2 එකට වැටුනොත් ඒක අපේ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එකට හොඳයි නේද?
ඔෆිෂියල් උත්තරයක් දෙන්න, අනොෆිෂියල් උත්තරයක් දෙන්න.
Dekama denna.
දෙවිදියටම
I mean, if සිංහලෙන් කියලා ඉස්වාලෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසි.
Of course.
මුලින්ම කියන්න ඕනේ මම මුලින්ම groups දැක්කම මමත් එකපාර group 2 එක දැක්කම මමත් හිතුවේ අපි ඒක පැත්තට ගියොත් හොඳයි නේද මේක unofficial දෙන උත්තරයක්. ඒක ඉන්දියා පාකිස්තාන හොඳ he has made a good point there. India Pakistan Bangladesh we actually beat them එකලම පෙරද්දුවා අපි. ඉතින් confidence පැත්තෙන් ආත්ම විශ්වාසය පැත්තෙන් අපි හොඳ තැනක ඉන්නවා. But World Cup එකට ගියාම අපිට තෝරලා බෙල්ල ගහන්න බෑ, මෙයාත් එක්ක ගහන්න ඕනේ, මෙයාත් එක්ක ගහන්න බෑ, එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. You have to play with the best. හොඳ කට්ටියත් එක්ක ගහලා පරද්දන කට්ටිය තමයි ඉස්සරහට යන්නේ. I think it's not a bad thing to go to group 2. I think group 1 is a group of death. Australia, England, they're top of their game, as well as New Zealand, they're playing some wonderful cricket. With India, Pakistan, South Africa, India is a totally different team. Pakistan, bowling is good, batting is just Rizwan and Babar Azam at the moment. South Africa, good pace attack, but it's either David Miller and Quinton de Kock. So, there's a pros and cons.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm just happy අපි මොන group එකට ගියාම. We just have to get through it. So.
Make it to some group.
Yes, because you expect Namibia to beat UAE and Namibia goes to the group of death, which is England, Australia, and New Zealand, which is a tough group. And hopefully we will go to group 2, which is more like an Asia Cup there over there.
දැන් නමීබියා හිතන සමහරට අපි මොකද්ද මේ කරගත්තේ කියලා නේ.
But this is a question that I think was popped up for Vasi yesterday also. Was this a strategic loss? Because that was obviously been spoken about.
Yeah, you mean a planned loss?
Yeah, that's what we want.
One thing I can assure that no one loses deliberately. I would say deliberately. It just happened, but I'll tell you what. The first game we were just nowhere international standard. Got to be said. The way we fielded, the way we bowled after the 15th over, the way we batted some of the strokes being played. It was, some very soft dismissals, not international standard. So the way the team came back today, thanks to Pathum Nissanka and Dushman Chamira's start, we got through it fine. But that's why I said we have a long way to go. Especially if we want to go a long way in this tournament, the middle order got to score. The top order, one of the three in the top order has to bat, in my opinion, at least about the 16th over, steadying the ship. Pathum did it, we won the game. And then you have your middle order coming and playing a natural game. When a bowler bowls well and takes hat-trick, I mean, good on him.
Yeah.
But, I expect much more from Bhanuka, Dasun and Charita Salanka and Dhananjay, all these guys, much better. As well as Chamika and especially Vanindu. He has to take much more responsibility batting at number 7.
In terms of the preparation, the match preparation, when we see most of the other teams, Farveez now, they had some sort of series going on at least about 3 or 4 days before the World Cup started. But it looked like Sri Lanka was the only one that actually didn't play with anybody. You had almost every other team, even Zimbabwe actually had a series in Australia, and they played really well, as a matter of fact.
And also New Zealand, Bangladesh, Pakistan played a tri-series, which is the pitches are much more similar. So, when it comes to tour organizing it, I mean, it's tough work because with the host nations, maybe before us, the other country boards would have had an understanding to send their teams particular time period. So we would have lost the time. But I'm pretty sure that our board would have tried as well. But unfortunately, they couldn't get it done.
Part of the FTP at that point.
Definitely, it's a part of FTP. Sometimes also it's about having a better relationship with Cricket Australia. So that's how it works. As you said, Zimbabwe played a series, West Indies played a series, England played a series in Australia. That's 4 countries, including Australia.
England played in Pakistan 7 T20s.
And they played in Australia as well. So the four teams, including Australia, played in Australia, and you had 3 teams, which is New Zealand, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, played a tri-series in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So that's out of 12 teams, 7 have played and climatized very well for a long time in Australia. So slight disadvantage, just we went early, then someone might ask, okay, our team went a couple of weeks before. Training is different, as I said. Training is different, playing games is different. It's total different.
And even one of the friendlies was washed out, right?
And one of the friendlies against, I think, Ireland was washed out.
Yeah.
Ireland was washed out. So you can bowl for a fast bowler, any number of deliveries in practices or in the nets. Doesn't matter. Yes, your workload matters, but what you do in a practice, not a practice, in a match situation, when in the middle, the side nets are on there, then the pressure is on and your body reacts differently.
Right, it's the Softlogic Live World Cup Payback right here with Shaq and Anu. We've got Farveez Maharoof in the studio with us, and all your questions. Remember, you have a great opportunity to get all those questions answered by dropping us a message. That's the number 077-669-1590. That's the beauty of this particular show. We've got viewers obviously sending in more questions.
Absolutely.
We obviously need to ask.
As you can see, we have minimal questions, and you have most of the questions, which is fine. But I was just going back to what you said just now, Farveez, that they've had more matches in than Sri Lanka and several other teams actually. Isn't that just great planning? Isn't that just good strategy? And do you think this happened by accident? I think it may have been planned about a year in advance.
Possibly more.
Yeah, or possibly more. It was coming there. So I mean, that's why I said that's where the relationship matters.
Yeah.
So if this next World Cup is going to happen in Sri Lanka, I'm pretty sure you'll have most of the boards calling up and try and arranging a tournament or a series or whatever. So this is where I think relationship matters. I'm pretty sure, as I said, knowing the dynamic SLC officials who's working in the FTP tour organizing committee would have tried, but you can't compete to host 4 teams at a time. You had Zimbabwe, you had England, you had West Indies. It's tough work. I mean, it's easy to give opinions, but it's sometimes logistically it's a nightmare. So that's where I think next time we got to be a bit more proactive. But saying that, it's all about the relationship in the end.
Talking about relationships, I think there's a little issue brewing between India and Pakistan at the moment.
When is it not brewing?
India have actually declared that they are not going to travel to Pakistan to play in the Asia Cup, which is a huge blow for the Asia Cup. And India is hosting the 50th World Cup next year. Now everyone in Pakistan are actually pushing the PCB chairman to say, listen, tell them that we're not coming for the World Cup. In India.
Well,
so basically, if you ask me, without a India Asia Cup, it's a no.
What's the point?
You cannot play a major tournament without India. That's a complete no. So I hope the authorities will iron this out, and there will be a tournament, because Asia Cup is a brilliant tournament, as well as World Cup. It's a must. So
absolutely.
Hopefully they'll sort the differences out.
I mean, it's neutral ground. I think Sri Lanka should pull up.
By
that time, we will sort our issues out.
Petrol, we can take you all anywhere. And this kind of tit for tat kind of tactic usually ends up with a lot more tit than tat. So anyway, Pasan asked this question. 1 month break එකක් අරගෙන bowlers ලා injure වෙනවා series එකක් ගහලා තිබ්බන what 1 month break එකක් අරගෙන bowlers ලා injure වෙනවා series එකක් ගහලා තිබ්බනම් batsman ලාත් injure වෙලා ඇති කියලා හිතනවද? Okay, why the bowlers are only injured?
පැති දෙකක් fast bowler කොහමද injury prone කොහමද හැමතිස්සෙම කියන්න ඕනේ injury එකෙන් පස්සේ ඇවිල්ලා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවනකොට තමයි ආයි ඉන්ජර් වෙන්න තියෙන chance එක වැඩි. ඒ දෙක තමයි වචනයක් තියන්නේ අපි workload management. එක manage කරන්නේ කොහමද? ඉතින් ඉන්ජරි එකක් ආව විශේෂයෙන් muscle injury එකකින් ආව නම් එහෙම like a hamstring or a calf or a groin or a side strain whatever. එතකොට තමයි හරි පරිස්සම් වෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන් තමන්ගේ hip එකෙන් පල්ල injuries and side strain ටික. ඉතින් ආන පස්සේ මට තේරෙනවා මමත් ওই තත්ත්වෙ හිටියා. ඉන්ජරි එකක් පස්සේ එනවා කියන්නේ හරිම අමාරුයි manage කරන්න ඕනේ. batsman කෙනෙක්ට එච්චර ලොකු අමාරුකමක් නැහැ. බැට්ස්මන් කෙනෙක්ට තියෙන වර්ක්ලෝඩ් හරිම අඩුයි. ඉතින් දුෂ්මන් චමීර කියන එක්කෙනා මම හිතන අවුරුදු එකමාරක් විතර කිසිම ඉන්ජරියක් නැතුව ගැව්වා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇන්කල් එක මේන්ටේන් කර ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් කර ගැව්වා. බට් දැන් එයා කියන්නේ හැමසෙම මේ මසල් ඉන්ජරි. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාගේ වර්ක්ලෝඩ් මැනේජ්මන්ට් තාම හරියට සෙට් වෙලා නැහැ. ඉතින් අද වෙලා තියෙන ආරංචි විතර කාෆ් ඉන්ජරියක්. ඉතින් කාෆ් ඉන්ජරියක් කියන්නේ ෆාස්ට් බෝලර්ට පොඩ්ඩක් කල් යනවා සූ වෙන්න.
So basically, right now we're looking at the fact that even when the scans come out, he's pretty much out of the tournament.
I mean, I hope not. If I'm being really honest to you, I hope not. But calf injuries can take a lot of time to heal.
The other one, of course, we spoke extensively about Danushka at the opening. But like we said earlier on, Charit Asalanka is a player that we really want to see fire. But
I mean, someone that I will. When he's on song, someone I'll pay to watch.
That's right.
Because the way he batted in the World Cup, I've seen that boy scoring tons of runs in his under 19 days during his time at SSC. I mean, we still at SSC. And the way he bats, I mean, it's just a nice thing to your eyes to watch him bat. So I hope that he will come out of this little rot, play his natural game. As I said, first take the 4 to 6 balls, play and try not to get out.
Right.
Then you get some confidence. Then when you get away from that, just one stroke away. You get that away, you're on song. So that sort of a player. Just hope for Sri Lanka's sake, more than Charit Asalanka's sake, Sri Lanka's sake, he comes good in the next game.
One thing I've actually noticed about Charit Asalanka, of course, is the fact that he walks at the same pace into the wicket with the same facial expression and walks right back the moment he gets up the same speed. It looks like he's going to do that.
I think especially today everyone noticed that.
It's same. It's like saying, yes, as if he went to say something to the batsman there, he walks up. But it's a huge sigh of relief that Sri Lanka obviously got over UAE. Big match, of course, happening in all contexts as far as the matches are concerned.
But Shaq, I want to ask, what do you think about the UAE the two paces? They were very good. weren't
They were brilliant. The Yorkers they were nailing in, as well as the fast bowler who hit Dushmantha for the biggest six. I've never seen
Was it 103?
109.
109.
109, and he went just like that just to show his strength. So that's something that I have not seen from UAE for a while.
Right.
The fast bowlers bowling close to 135, 137,
Yeah.
high 130s, as well as the batters can hit that long ball. So UAE cricket is also on the rise. I mean, you can see more players coming through from UAE as well.
What's the reason? I think we actually answered this question from Damita.
Yeah.
This is another question.
This is another question.
Oh, it's another question.
Yeah, so clearly Damita has really analysed this. Danushka injury වෙලා World Cup එකෙන් අයින් වෙන්න වුණොත් ඒ වෙනුවට අශේන් බණ්ඩාර අංක 4ට ගෙනල්ලා ඉනිං එක රොටේට් කරවන්න පුළුවන් නේද? අශේන් හොඳට සිංගල් එක ගහන කෙනෙක් හින්දා ඒ චරිත් ෆේල් නම් විතරයි.
Good option.
Yeah.
It's a very good options by Damita. Shen Bandara කියන්නේත් හරිම busy player කෙනෙක්. ගොඩක් he likes to work the single, as he said correctly, and also he is very quick in the field. In the fielding, he can at least save 10 to 15 runs for us, as well as in the while batting. The way he run between wickets is just lightning quick. So very good option to have, but I still believe Charit will come good, can come the crunch games.
But I mean, in that question at the end, it says Charit fair now because at which point do you decide?
Yeah, but I mean
Tough one.
At which point he's still coming out. At which point do you decide, okay, he's failed also?
I think those things, the gut, you have to take the gut feeling.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's where Pramod Vikram Singh is already there. You got Milo over there. You got Chris Silverwood, Dasun Shanaka, the think tank of the team.
Right.
I mean, no big brains than Mahela Javardhan and Chris Silverwood, who has coached England as well. So, they have to make a call. They see in and out of Charit Asalanka, the way he's practicing, how is he in the hotel, how is he there and thereabout with the players, is he down, is his shoulders back, walking his chest up. These things matters, the body language matters. Sometimes, we were told, especially by people like Sanat, Wasid, all these players, when you're walking even in the street, chest up.
Yeah.
Be confident, even though you have done a mistake or you have not done well, always chest up. You're representing the country, you're an ambassador of your country.
Yeah.
So similarly, this is where Charit Asalanka needs support. Sometimes a bit of affection by the management, a pep talk. This is what this young boy needs, and hopefully, these things has come well for a player in the past when he has given a bit affection by the management. So hopefully he'll get that, and he'll come out of the little rot.
I'm quite surprised that he actually used the word affection, because he's the most affectionate player in the team. I kid you not, next time you see him, right, he'll be the one who'll give the hug the first.
Right,
he hugs everybody.
Right.
He's the most affectionate.
He's a captain's material.
Right.
I've kept on saying it. He's someone that, I've seen him, as I said, he has captained under-19 as well, and he's been groomed to be a captain. So, he knows it. One day he's going to get that cap on his head. So for him to do that, this is the moment.
Right.
You show you're a leader. When you're down and out and trying to get out of the rot, this is where you show your character and come out of it, and people remember for those sections.
The associate nations have been performing really well at the World Cup, and they've been doing, the surprise, of course, a couple of upsets. Do you not think that the World Cup, as in the main stage of the World Cup, should automatically include them into it also and have like a 16-team World Cup?
Yeah, rather than call them associate.
Exactly, having them
give them full
qualify,
status.
beg your way through, and if you're good enough, you play with the big boys.
Yeah.
Why can't you just open it up to 16 games or 16 teams?
I look at it the way how the World Cup has been done in football.
Right.
You have 32 teams, 8 groups, 4 teams a group. You have a lot of time, a lot of teams to have their rest. But when it comes to we can't call it to qualify anymore. It's the first round we're talking about.
Yeah.
You just have one day off, and you play high pressure, high intensity, 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
It's never going to be easy. So I reckon if ICC could look at that, number one, regarding having a qualifier. If you're having it, have it at least give a couple of days off.
Right.
And then the other option, as you said, at least to make say 8 per group, make it 16 teams, which is a very good option.
Yeah.
Because you need more games to be played. That's how you make the revenue.
Right.
From when it comes to sponsorships.
Yeah, and it's also a great experience for the so-called associate teams, because otherwise they might never make it to the.
And also you have to reward the associate teams who have done well. Yes, you have been rewarded for playing a qualifier, first round, whatever you call it. But I'm with you there. At least to make 8 teams aside, make it 16 teams, 7 groups. and get the top 4
Yeah.
and play quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
That's
Yeah. I think we have done it in the past, but for some reason, maybe trying to reduce the number of games because of several other issues. I don't know.
Yeah.
But ideally, for me, as you said, 8 teams aside, top 4 goes through. From Group 1, the top 1 plays the 4th in the Group B. Similarly, vice versa. You can play quarterfinals, semifinals.
While you're looking at it this way, some of the qualifying teams, clearly they need to play with the top teams to get better.
Yeah, of
so now
course.
you've got teams like, for example, the UAE is already knocked out, who would have never played India in their lives before, or Pakistan in their lives before.
If they were like one large group of
They
16,
have to.
they will.
And this only obviously makes them better, right?
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, I mean, you got Scotland and all these teams playing really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Ramit asked this
we'll
question.
write to the ICC. Anu.
They'll take us seriously. We'll have to put yar at the end. Take us seriously, yar.
Speaking our language.
Absolutely, immediately. So Ramit, nice to notice this. Dasun Shanaka wicket එකට ආපු ගමන් spin bowling face කරන්න මොකක් හරි weakness එකක් තියෙනවද?
I think Maha actually touched on that.
මම හිතන්නේ ලෙග් ස්පිනර්ස් වලට ගහනකොට එදා පටන් පොඩ්ඩක් normal spinners වලට ගහන කියන්නේ finger spinner එකට ගහනට වඩා wrist spinner එකට ගහනකොට පොඩි වෙනසක් තියෙනව නැතුව නෙමෙයි. ඒක මම හිතන්නේ ටෙක්නිකල් එකට වඩා පොඩ්ඩක් mental කියලා මට හිතෙනවා.
Yeah.
like සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අර දන්නවා නම් back of the mind පිටිපස්සේ ඔළුවේ තේරෙනවා නම් මීට කලින් මම අවුට්ලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට එහෙම දෙන්න පුළුවන්. අද උනේ ඇවිල්ලා තනිකර හැට්‍රික් බෝල් එකට ආවේ. හැට්‍රික් බෝල් එකට සාමාන්‍ය ලොකු පාර සෙල්ලම් කරන්නෙත් නෑ. ෆුල් ටොස් එකක් ආවත් අපි ඒලාවට චකිතයක් තියෙනවා නම් මම හිතන්නේ සිංගල් එකක් ගහන සයිස් එකට තමයි අපි යන්නේ. ඉතින් එවැනි අවස්ථාවකදී ඇඟ නෙගටිව් වුණාම අපි නොදැනුවත්වම අපේ normal ඇඟ හැදෙන මේ කියන්නේ හැසිරෙන විදිහ නෙමෙයි හැසිරෙන්නේ. ඒකයි දසුන්ගේ අද ඩිෆෙන්ස් එක ගහනකොට පැඩ් එකයි බැට් එකක් අතර සෑහෙන ගැප් එකක් තියලා ඒ ගැප් එකෙන් මේ පන්දු ගියේ.
We've got about 12 more minutes left right here on the show, but talking about Sri Lanka's performance and into the World Cup, keeping our fingers crossed, things work out well. But as I checked the weather today, it has cleared up on Thursday.
Really?
There is a 10% chance of rain.
Right, it's gone rain.
It's not rain?
It's not gone rain.
It's not going to rain. Okay, great.
In the afternoon.
Huh?
In the afternoon, right? Yeah, 3.
And in countries like that, you actually believe them.
Hey, absolutely.
Unless the cyclone which Sri Lanka is experiencing goes all over to Australia.
Yeah, well, not now. Stay here for a while.
Yes, it's okay.
It's all right. Stay here for a while. Softlogic Live, thank you so much for being a part of the show. The Softlogic Live World Cup Payback on the show. Edge Vantage Workflows and Daraz is also on the show with us. Hoping, of course, we've got so many great shows lined up in the next couple of days or so, walking into the T20 World Cup. Big matches coming up. We're still seeing the little boys actually play, so to say.
Yeah.
Right? We got India, Pakistan, which is actually billed as the only match in the World Cup. Once India, Pakistan finish playing, the World Cup is over.
That's because you've been looking at too many Indian
It has the biggest audience, isn't it?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is so. Did you see? Oh my God, we should have actually played this. Dwayne Rock was actually promoting the India-Pakistan World Cup match.
Oh, on Twitter?
It was a video. It was a video.
Does he even know this game?
Well, he's reading the script. Right? He said the greatest rivalry in the world, the India-Pakistan match. And
what about the Ashes?
Clearly they must have paid a lot of money to say that. Right? But I will try and pull out that video for tomorrow.
ලංකාවේ කවුරු තමයි ඒක කරලා ඇති ෂෝ එකට මේ රොක් කෝ කියලා දාපන්. මොකද්ද මේ?
But seriously, it's a big match, India-Pakistan. I think it's the first match that always gets sold out in any of the tournament.
As opposed to the final of the Women's Asia Cup. I mean, it was sad to see that entire stadium.
Yeah.
Must have been, 50 people there?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a different ballgame altogether, isn't it? I mean, in terms of pushing women's cricket is also very important. And I think that is the more exposure they get, the better they obviously end up becoming. We need to take a quick break right here on the show. It's a Softlogic Live World Cup Payback. We'll be back right after these messages, our final few minutes with Farveez Maharoof in the studio. And all three of us are obviously, it's a sigh of relief after the win today. So we'll be back right after this.
කවුරුත් සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එන්නේ නැහැනේ.
මුහුණ අප්සෙට් කරගෙන ක්‍රිකට් ගහන්න බෑ නේද? ගහමුද මැච් එක?
ගහමු.
මැච් එක ගහන්න කලින් පිච් එක හදන්න ඕනේ.
කෝ බැස්මන් ලෑස්තිද?
ඔය ගේන්නේ ජීවිතේ හැම මොහොතක්ම වරෙන් ජීවත් වෙන්න අදම තීරණය කරන්න. වෙන දෙයක් වුණොත් Softlogic live ඉන්නවා බලාගන්න.
Corporate events, weddings, concerts, or simply getting fuel with the QR code. Let us help you take your big day to the world with a professional broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, MS Teams, or your website at the most affordable rates. So give us a call and let's go live. PodHub.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
ගහමුද මැච් එක?
ගහමු.
මැච් එක ගහන්න කලින් පිච් එක හදන්න ඕනේ. වහල කැට් ඔට්ටු නෑ.
මේ LED ගියොත් අවුට් නා.
මොකද මෙතන වෙන්නේ?
එන්න අම්පයර් කෙනෙක් හොයෝ හිටියේ. ජීවිතේ හැම මොහොතක්ම වරෙන් ජීවත් වෙන්න අදම තීරණය කරන්න. වෙන දෙයක් වුණොත් Softlogic live ඉන්නවා බලාගන්න.
Right, we are back.
That's right. Into the final few minutes of the show for today is the Softlogic Live Payback right here. It's a World Cup payback. Talking about the T20 World Cup played in Australia right now. We're still in the early stages of the game, so to say, and some big matches are still to come.
Absolutely.
Sachit has a question.
Farveez කැමතිම international commentator කවුද? කවුරු හරි ඔයාව inspire කරනවද?
Oh.
Sachit, what aesthetic question that is.
මම කවවත් ෆලෝ කරන්නේ නැහැ බට් මම ආස කමෙන්ටේටර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා මම හරිම ආසයි නසාර් හුසේන් කමෙන්ටේට් කරනවා අහන්න එකක් and also Sunil Gavaskar Ravi Shastri විශේෂයෙන් as a lead commentator and මම කමෙන්ටරි කළ තියෙන කට්ටියකින් මම කරන්න ආසයි ඉංග්‍රීසි එක්කෙනෙක් තමයි පොමි මංගව මම යාත් එක දැන් 3-4 පාරක් වැඩ කරා so ඒ තුන් වෙන අතර හැබැයි ඒකට කලින් Bill Lawry was my favorite all time.
Have you commentated with Ravi Shastri?
No, not with Sunil Gavaskar, not with Ravi, not with Nasa, but I did commentate with Pommy. It's good fun. I mean, it's different agenda. I mean, different challenges, and you need to cope up with your co-commentator.
Right.
So what Pommy brings into the table, what HD Ackerman or Russell, it's totally different. Like Amir Suhail, it's totally different. So you just have to combine and commentary is not a team environmental thing.
Yeah.
You just express yourself, but sometimes you need to gel in.
Right.
That's how you get the best out of you
Each other.
to the viewers.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
how we should be. So, Ranjit Fernando, sir, when I first got my gig, the first advice he gave me was talk cricket.
Right.
Talk cricket. That's it. Talk cricket, predict, be technical, be an expert. That's your way forward. So I think at the moment only I'm doing that.
Okay. I remember during the Asia Cup, Maha, before you left, you obviously predicted that Sri Lanka will get into the finals, right? Like everyone's thinking that just because we lost the first match against Afghanistan and we started winning everything, and right after that we're going down the same road to the World
There are very similar overtones in here.
Cup.
එහෙම තමයි හැමෝම හිතන්නේ. Are you kidding me? There's 22 million people praying out there.
Yeah, the moment we lost the first game, it was like, same thing happened in Asia Cup, don't worry about it. But before we actually take it all the way to the finals, who are your semi-final picks?
If Sri Lanka becomes second in the first qualifier, not qualifier, the first round, and goes to becomes second and goes to the India, Pakistan, South Africa, Bangladesh group,
Right.
I would back India and Sri Lanka to come through.
Right.
Right? And if Sri Lanka becomes number one, which is highly unlikely,
Right.
it'll be a tougher group to get through from that group because the way England is playing, the players what they have in their camp, pick hitters, fast bowlers, brilliant team. As well as Australia at home with the pace attack what they have, it'll be tough work. But in case if we go to group 2, we'll have very good chance of coming to second round. But all depends on Dushman Chamira as well. If we miss him, if he cannot play anymore in this tournament, that'll be huge too because he's a bowler who's going to give you 2 overs up front and 2 overs in the death. And you need experience in death bowling, especially up in Australia, which is not renowned for his reverse swing. When he's not reverse swinging for a fast bowler at the back end of the innings, it's tough work.
So Lahiri Kumara is not a player-to-player substitute?
I mean, he is, but only problem is he's not renowned for his death bowling.
Right.
So he is a bowler who will bowl you that hard length up front or maybe the middle overs, but you need a good finisher.
Right.
So Dushmant have done it for a very long time. Charming can do that job, yes, but you need a partner for that. And in that case, Bindo Fernando is much better death bowler than Lahiri Kumara. So tactically, we have to get that combination right. So it'll be tough work, but I like to see our guys going out there and expressing themselves. They won the Asia Cup by doing that. Not trying to, imitate someone else's game. Play that Sri Lankan brand.
Yeah.
Win or lose, it's Sri Lankan brand, which the entire world knows. And if our middle order clicks, if our top order clicks, I think our bowlers will do the job somehow with Wanindu and Mahesh still there. I reckon we'll have a decent chance to get in the semi-final. So rest of the teams, if I may say it, I would say if Sri Lanka goes to Group B, which is India, I would say India and Sri Lanka to come into the semi-finals. So from Group A, I'll back Australia and England to come through.
Wow. Obviously, irrespective of the extent of the injury with Dushman Chamira, most probably they will not play him in the next game.
No.
Yeah.
Keep him aside. But your playing 11 would be, now considering that we do have little chinks in the armor which we need to sort of fix. We have 2 players who are mortally out of form.
Yeah.
And you replace one player with another out of form player.
I think within 48 hours, it's a miracle to get a player who's nursing a niggle to come and play unless you're really super fit. So in case if I if I'm putting my thought that Madhushan and Dushmanta is out, 2 options would be either to have Lahiri and Binra both in the 11, or else I either play one of them with Jeffrey Van der Sey as the other bowlers, mainly because it's a day game, it's a wrist spinner, and the wickets are slower during daytime. Considering all those facts, from these 3 players, I'll get 2 into the team, and Charith Asalanka, I'll definitely give him one more go.
One more.
One more go and see where he is. Just a matter of if he scores even 10 runs of 12 deliveries, at least he has scored some runs. That confidence is better than nothing.
Yeah.
So you go to the second round and you feel much more comfortable. Right, I got some runs behind my back. So that confidence also gives you a boost as well. So overall, I know it's a tough one, but you just have to play what you have in your armor, isn't it?
Back your guns, so to say.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in, though.
Yeah, I hate to be in my shoes right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll pull out a rabbit out of their hat, as they say, and then Sri Lankans are known to do this more often than not. Always.
Rabbito itteva. Whatever works. But Shaq, before we forget, we have Sri Lanka has just won last night the Oscar in literature, basically the Booker Prize, and it went to a good friend of ours who was here on our show just a few weeks ago, Shehan Karunatilaka, for his fantastic book, The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida. His first iteration, I read it. I got the first edition actually, because he happens to be such a good friend. But what an absolute honor! This is the second Sri Lankan to win the Booker Prize, and there are about 100 countries who have never even featured in the Booker Prize. It's that prestigious, right? So it's wonderful news. The first one, of course, was Michael Ondaji for The English Patient, and now finally. The second one, Shehan Karunatilaka for The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida, and it's just absolutely phenomenal that a Sri Lankan writer is recognized at that forum, and he did lean into Kiss the Queen Consort. So
yeah, I know. What does that happen?
මමත් බැලුවා දී හාමුදුරුවනේ දැන් මේක දිනලා දැන් මේක දිනලා මේ මිනිස්සයාගේ හිස ගසා දාන්න.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, fortunately it was the queen consort and not the queen or the princess, you know, so yeah.
So Shahan, of course, we had a chat with him a couple of weeks ago, and he had absolutely no idea of winning.
Absolutely.
He really
I don't think he wrote it, you know, thinking about anything. He just wanted some, you know, the creative juices to flow out of him, and he did.
Best things happen when you don't expect that.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's absolutely true.
So that's what we need to do with the Sri Lankan cricket team. Don't expect them. Don't expect anything to happen.
Are you kidding me? Some of us may not have even washed our faces for, you know, a couple of days because we put game krama dino.
That's also true, yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And we're done. We're going to be back with you once again tomorrow night. Looking forward for the key game that Sri Lanka take on the Netherlands on Thursday.
Yeah.
Chamin Damas is going to be in the studio with us tomorrow, where the predictions once again will happen on the show. So thank you very much to our sponsors. It's Softlogic Live on the show with us, Daraz and Edgevantage Workflows.
And hopefully a lot of people can win some money, or someone can win some money
That's the plan,
predicting the right score.
Yeah.
All right, see you tomorrow. Take care.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good night. Thank you very much.